Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to this video, guys. My name is Liaquat. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying yourselves. Right, so we are going through Mukhtasar al-Qudoori. If you guys enjoy the series, make sure you know what to do. Like button, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you get notifications as well. Right, so let's crack on with this then. So he says, وَمَنْ بَاعَ بِشَرْطِ الْخِيَارِ. Okay, so shart, you know what that means. Khiyar, we've done that before. La shuf'ata shafi asqata, it means to drop. Okay, to drop. Khiyar wajabat shuf'a. Ishtara. Okay. Ishtara is to purchase, to buy. And then wajabat becomes necessary. Shuf'a ibta, to purchase as well, to buy. Daran is a property. Fasidan is defective. Muta'aqidain, two contractors. Fasakh is nullification. In saqat al-fasakh, ishtara, to buy. Dhimmi is a non-Muslim living in a Muslim land. Okay, so daran, khamar, wine. Khinzir, pork. Shafi, we've done that before. Okay, khamar, qima is value. And then Muslim is obviously a Muslim. And then hiba is a gift. إلا أن تكون بعوض. Iwad is an exchanged item, something that's given in exchange. اختلف, differ. Shafi, you done that. Qama is to make, is stand, to make stand. Bayyana, proof. And then the rest of it's fine. Okay, so that's that. Now, I actually wanted to make this a bit longer today, guys, but it was so long, it became so long because some of the mas'alas are just connected with each other. So it's pointless me halfway through doing one episode and the next episode. So this is why I had to shorten it a bit, just to kind of make it nice and flow. What do you guys think? Do you guys enjoy having the long videos, or do you guys having short videos like this? Let me know in the comments, inshallah. Because I like reading your comments. I like listening to what you guys have to say. Alright, so man ba'a. So ba'a fi al-fa'il. Okay, bi sharti al-khiyari. Okay, we change the pen. فلا شفعة, so this is اسم لا نفي الجنس للشفيع فإن أسقط الخيار وجبت الشفعة ومن اشترى بشرط الخيار وجبت فعل الشفعة is the file, and then من ابتاع دارا فعل file, دارا is the مفعول به, شراء فاسدا, this is مفعول مطلق and this is the صفة. So مفعول مطلق شراء. If you guys know what maf'ul mutlaq is, put it in the comments below. فلا شفعة ولكل واحد من المتعاقدين الفسخ مبتدأ مؤخر فإن سقط الفسخ في الفاعل وجبت الشفعة وإذا اشترى ذمي is the file دارا مفعول به بخمر جار مجرور عطف onto خمر وشفيئها ذمي واو حالية أخذها بمثل الخمر وقيمة الخنزير وإن كان شفيئها مسلما أخذها بقيمة الخمر مضاف مضاف إليه والخنزير ولا شفعة في الهبة إلا أن تكون بعوض جار مجرور مشروط جار مجرور صفة كده الصفة over the top with this. وإذا اختلف الشفيع والمشتري, now let me know why it's مشتري and not مشتري. في الثمن فالقول قول مبتدأ قول خبر مشتري مع يمينه فإن أقام البينة فالبينة مبتدأ you can't have two مبتدأs يار عن خبر بينة الشفيع عند أبي حنيفة ومحمد وقال أبو يوسف البينة مبتدأ بينة المشتري. Straightforward, guys, very simple as that. Alright, so let's now try to explain this. Let's see if you guys can get this now. Alright, so what's happening over here? Now, when you study fiqh, one of the things you have to remember is sometimes one mas'ala might have two or three mas'alas in there. What do I mean? So let's say, for example, you have a mas'ala related to wudu, and in that mas'ala there might be something related to tayammum in there, there might be something related to the time of salat in there. So you probably would have to need, or you will definitely need to know various masail in order to appreciate that one masala. This is an example of this. So remember when we did khiyar shart. If you don't remember, go back to the videos of khiyar shart, watch them again, just to clear up your mind, crystal clear. So man ba'a bi shart al-khiyar fala shufata li-shafi'. So whoever sells something with shart al-khiyar. Now, what this basically means, imagine this is a house. Now, I've forgotten the names of the guys of these properties, okay, so I've got to apologize. So let's call him Zaid, all right, and then he's got a next door neighbor, and call him Mr. Shafi. Okay, so Mr. Shafi. And then this guy is selling it to someone else, and we're going to call him Mushtari. Okay, so that's easy to follow. Now, if Zaid was to sell the property to the Mushtari, we know what's going to happen is the Shafi is going to get khiyar al-shufa. He's going to get the rights of shufa. Okay? But that's only if this transaction is considered to be a sahih transaction. Right? Sahih transaction, if you remember what we said, it has to have all of the conditions of a contract without anything in there that makes it defective. But if this contract was not sahih, if it was fasid, for example, like, give you an example of fasid. Zaid sells a property to the mushtari on the condition that Zaid is allowed to use the house every Saturday. Right? So goes against the whole idea of selling, because you're not supposed to impose on the buyer conditions which are unfair. So anyway, this contract is fasid, and as you know, with fasid contracts, what happens is ownership does not transfer until possession has been taken. Right? So possession has to be taken. So let's say, for example, this contract happened on Monday. Right? You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this contract happens on Monday. Now, because it's happened on Monday, that means it's fasid there. So let's put F fasid, 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 fasid. Then on Friday, this mushtari was to take it. Now it becomes done. I'm right, done. Okay. So from Monday all the way up to Thursday, it's going to be considered to be fasid transaction. So in this interim period, the shafi does not have right of shufa. Once Thursday passes and they have finalized the contract, they have taken ownership, everything like that, then this is done. Now he has the right of shufa. All right, and that's because the nature of a bait fasid, a defective contract, is that full transfer of ownership doesn't take place. Make sense? Okay, so man ba'a, let's look at this then. So he says, whoever ba'a, sells something bi shart al-khiyar. Oh, I have explained something which is gonna come. So I apologize for this, guys. I actually explained this. I do apologize. This is probably one of the first times it ever happened to me. So if you guys like that mistake I made, hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure you support my channel. So man ibta'a daran, whoever buys a property. So this guy has bought this property, okay? Shira'an fasidan, but he's bought it with shira fasid, okay? فَلَا شُفْعَةَ فِيهَا, so the shafi does not get the rights of shufa. وَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنَ الْمُتَعَاقِدَيْنِ, and each one of the two contractors, the mushtari and the Zaid, has the right to fasakh, nullify the contract. فَإِن سَقَطَ الْفَسْخ, but however, if fasakh drops, then وَجَبَتِ الشُّفَى become necessary. How does a fasakh drop? How does fasakh no longer? So fasakh can basically drop, let's say if they remove the fasad. If the fasad is removed, or if the item now has been exchanged with someone else. So the point is that it now becomes binding, right? So fasakh has dropped because he's gone and sold it onto someone else, or he's done something like that. And now the fasakh, it can no longer be fully refunded now. Right? So because if it can no longer be fully refunded, that means the contract has legally gone through. Once it legally goes through, then it's done, and the shafi now gets the right to shufa. You like that? Now let's go back to the original masala. Yeah, look at that, subhanallah. Okay, so now let's go back to the original masala, the first masala. So this first masala is to do with khiyar shart. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Now remember what khiyar shart is. Khiyar shart is basically where the seller or the buyer takes out 3 days, 72 hours to decide whether they want the item or not. All right, so they've got basically 72 hours to decide whether he wants it or not. All right, so if, for example, a person, either the seller can do this, so the seller, or the buyer can do this. All right, so it's the buyer in yellow, so she should have in blue, isn't it? So seller and buyer. So remember, if you can't remember khiyar al-shart, what I would advise, pause it now, go back to khiyar al-shart, watch khiyar al-shart, because over there's something very important, a big difference between if the seller was to take khiyar versus if the buyer was to take khiyar, what happens? So they say if the seller was to take khiyar, right, so the Zayd sells the house to the Mushtari and he says he wants 72 hours to decide whether he really wants to depart with his house or not, part with his house or not. So if he's got this 72 hours, that means the item has not left the ownership of the seller. It hasn't left yet. So because it hasn't left yet, that means that within this period of time, the shafi does not have shufa, no shufa, until he drops. So once 3 days passes, 72 hours has gone, and he doesn't want it anymore, right? He wants the property. He doesn't want the khiyar anymore. He says, I want to sell the property. Then the shafi gets the right of shufa. All right. So in other words, the shufa only applies in the case where the seller is happy now to part with it. So he's waived his right, yeah. And the buyer, right? And the buyer in this case, what if he wants khiyar? If the buyer wants khiyar, then what that basically means is that the seller is happy to part with it. So he actually leaves the owner of the seller. And once he leaves the owner of the seller, there was a little ikhtilaf between Abu Hanifa and between Sahibain. If you can remember the ikhtilaf, put it in the comments below. Right. Make sure you watch khiyar al-shart again. Yeah. So in this case, if the buyer wants khiyar, right, is unsure for 72 hours, it doesn't really matter. Right, so in the buyer wanting khiyar, it will go through straight away. That's the difference. So buyer wanting khiyar will not mean anything. Straight away it will go through and the shafi gets the right. So what's the summary of this then? The summary is if the seller, he opts for khiyar, then it doesn't go through. It's pending until he drops his khiyar and the sale goes through. If the buyer wants khiyar, it will go through straight away. Make sense? Alright, so Man ba'a bi shart al-khiyar. Whoever sells, Zayd sells an item with the shart al-khiyar. Fala shufata li shafi. Shafi gets no shuf'a, because remember it's this period of time here. فَإِنْ أَسْقَطَ الْخِيَارِ. If however the seller was to drop the khiyar on day 2 or day 3, وَجَبَتْ الشُّفْعَةُ. Shufa becomes necessary and shafi can take the house. وَمَنْ اشْتَرَى. And whoever purchases بِشَرْطِ الْخِيَارِ. So in this case the buyer, he purchased with the shart al-khiyar. Wajabat al-shufa. Straight away, we don't even have to wait for the finishing of 3 days. Shufa becomes necessary. Everyone understand the difference? Now again, like I said, you need to go back and you need to watch that, right? Because it's just like, it's a compounded masla. This is compounded masla, those masail which are pending understanding of multiple maslas. Okay, next. وَإِذَا اشْتَرَى ذِمِّيٌّ. Now, let's say for example this is property. All right, and this guy, let's call him John. So he's a non-Muslim, John, and he's selling his house to Jane. Okay, John and Jane, they're two non-Muslims, and the neighbor is a Muslim. What happens is, remember, when you sell something, you don't have to sell it for cash. You can actually sell it for whatever you like, right? So it can be anything as long as it's mal. So John decides to sell his property to Jane in exchange for wine. It's supposed to be wine days. Yeah. Wine. Or a pig. Apologies for trying to draw a pig here. All right, so pig. Or he's selling the property for a pig. Now, obviously, both are considered to be haram. And as a Muslim is not allowed to transact with these things because they are considered to be impermissible to transact with, to deal with. All right. So this is why it's very important to understand why has he brought this masala. He's brought this masala because he wants to show that if John was to sell Jane with these, then the Shafi, how does the Shafi pay if he's not allowed to pay with these things? So he's not allowed to, if he gets the shufa, he's not allowed to buy wine and give it to John or pig, right? We can't do that because that's not allowed for a Muslim. But he still has the right of shufa. So what happens in his case, right? So he says, إِذَا اشْتَرَى ذِمِّيٌّ, if a dhimmi, this is Jane, she buys a property, بِخَمْرٍ, in exchange for wine or pig, so wine, pig, وَشَفِي'ُهَا ذِمِّيٌّ. Oh, so this in this case, Shafi is dhimmi, right? The Muslim one's going to come in a bit. If the Shafi is dhimmi, so let's put it over here. If he is a non-Muslim, if he was Christian, let's say, if he was a Christian, then all he has to do is give the wine. Yeah, so he gives wine or pig. But what if the Shafi was not a dhimmi? What if the Shafi was a Muslim? Yeah, so what if he's a Muslim? So he's a, I don't know what to draw for Muslim. So I draw like a crescent and a star like everyone likes. Yeah, he's a Muslim. What if he's a Muslim? If he's a Muslim, then what he has to do, he has to give the value of the wine. So the value of the wine, let's say it's £1,000, or the value of the pig, let's say, according to them, it's, I don't know, 2,000. Right? So whatever the value is, he has to give that. Because he can't give the item itself. It's haram for a Muslim to give something haram to someone else. Make sense? So look, أخذها. So when a dhimmi, he purchases, Jane in this case, purchases dar, property, بخمر, in exchange for wine, and exchange for pig. وَشَفِي'ُهَا ذِمِّي, and the Shafi is a dhimmi. أخذها, the dhimmi Shafi can take the property بمثل الخمر, with similar to wine, وقيمة الخنزير, and the value of khinzir. Okay, so not the pig itself. So let me write that down over here. So now what's the reason for this? Does anyone know? Okay, so the wine or the value of the pig. All right, so value of the pig, which is 2,000. So the reason for this is because, remember we did this in Buyu. We said items are either fungible. So let me just put it onto this. Fungible means replaceable, or non-fungible. Non-fungible means non-replaceable, is unique, one of a kind. Because pigs are one of a kind, he can't just go and buy a pig and give it to him. Each pig is different, their health and their age and their value. So he has to give the value of that particular pig. But in the wine case, because wine is can be replicable, so therefore it's fungible, and so you can give the wine, right? And for the Muslim, وَإِنْ كَانَ شَفِي'ُهَا, if however the Shafi is a Muslim, أَخَذَهَا بِقِيمَةِ الْخَمَرِ وَالْخِنْزِيرِ, he takes it for the value of both. Yeah, so both of them, he's going to take the value. So value. Okay, so both value. And the reason value is because he's not allowed to give wine and he's not allowed to give a pig. Right, so that's why he's going to give the value of both. Make sense? Right, okay. Now, let's move this up a bit here. Let's try to make some space over here so you guys can see as well. Well, do you guys enjoy my drawings? Do you guys like it? Is it engaging? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know what kind of improvements I can make. And also, thank you to all my patrons. If any of you guys want to support my channel on a monthly basis, donate towards my channel, please check out the description below. Appreciate it a lot. It means a lot to me. Helps me make these videos and take out time to produce this content. Alhamdulillah. Alright, so if, for example, like there is a property, and this property, right, is owned by Zaid, and he sells the property to the mushtari, then shufa happens. Yeah, so you get shufa. Shafi. But if he was to gift it, if he gifted the house to him as a gift, then there's no shufa. And why is that? Because remember we said in shufa is only necessitated when there is a mutual exchange of wealth on both sides. It has to be a mutual exchange of wealth. And we listed in the beginning of the chapter those things that do not necessitate like mahar and other things. Check the video out. Yeah. Now the only type of gift in which there will be shufa, right? So let me write this down. Number one is called just a pure gift, and number two is called a mutual gift. If it's a mutual gift, in a mutual gift case, there will be shufa. Yeah. Why is that? Because a mutual gift is where Zayd says, "I will give you the house, and you give me your car." Yeah. So I'll give you the house, you give me your car. So what's happening on both sides is mubadalatul mali bil mali bit taradi. So wealth is being exchanged on both sides. So in reality, number two is actually a bait. This is in reality a bait. Whereas the number one is a one-way gift. That's what it is. So that's why he says, if you look at this then, wala shuf'ata, there is no shuf'a fil hiba. So there is no shafi in regards to hiba, gift, this first type. Illa an takuna, unless it is, the gift is bi iwadin mashrut, mutual gift, a gift which has been conditioned at the beginning. So it's like Zayd says, I will only give you my house if you give me your car. That's what we call a iwad mashrut, a gift which has an exchangeable item that's mashrut, shart, like a condition has been stipulated. Okay, last masala now. Right, last masala. What's the last masala? So last masala is this. Now you are going to get arguments in these cases, remember. So for instance, let's say this is the property that's been sold. This is the mushtari, and this is the shafi. Right, so I keep drawing it for you guys because I want you guys to understand it thoroughly. Remember, the mushtari's name is, or the seller's name is Zayd. Alright, so what happens in this case is this. The shafi claims that the house was sold for a less price. So the shafi says, you bought the house for 100k. And the mushtari says, no, I bought the house for 150k. Yeah. 100,000 he's saying 150,000. The shafi is saying basically, you're not telling the truth. You really bought it for a lesser price. So in court, what's going to happen over here? Yeah, in court, what's going to happen? So this here, right? This here, in this case, what's going to happen is the rule in court cases is this, that the judge will actually look at. So let's imagine, for example, this is the judge. So Mr. Judge, he will actually look at this rule, which is the claimant, the person who's making the claim, he provides proof. And the person who is denying, the denying person, they swear an oath if there's no proof. If there's no proof, then you swear an oath. That's the rule. Now here we have to identify who is making a claim. So the claim here is actually being made by the shafi, because the mushtari is the guy that normally knows how much he bought it for. So he's on the norm, he is. The shafi is actually saying, no, you got it for less. So he wants to take it for less. So therefore we say that the shafi would have to provide proof. If he can provide proof that he's bought it for 100,000, he wins the case. If he can't provide proof, then the mushtari is made to swear an oath. Yeah, he's made to swear an oath. Wallahi, I bought the house for 150,000, and he wins the case. Right? So this is how it's going to work, and this is how it works in court. And I've mentioned this before a few times as well. Right? So whenever in the text it comes out with this statement, you have to understand the statement like that. So let's have a look at this. إذا اختلف الشفيع والمشتري, when the shafi and the mushtari, they differ in regards to في الثمن, the price of the house. Yeah, so shafi is saying you bought it for 100,000, and mushtari is saying no, I bought it for 150,000. فالقول قول المشتري, then in that case the statement will be the statement of the mushtari, meaning if there is no proof. Okay, if there is no proof. That's usually what you have to understand, even if it doesn't say it in the text. That's just the standard way of understanding it. مع يمينه, with his oath. Yeah, so he's going to give an oath. Okay, what if both of them provide witnesses? فإن أقام البينة, so mushtari provides evidence to show that it was 150, and shafi provides evidence. Then what happens? So because the rule is that the claimant's proof will be taken, then that means this guy is the claimant, Shafi is the claimant, only his proof will be taken, the other guy's proof will be dismissed. Does that make sense? Because we can only take the proof of one individual, the claimant. So if they both provide proof, فَالْبَيِّنَةُ بَيِّنَةُ الشَّفِي in the Abi Hanifa. According to Imam Hanifa, he says, it will be the bayyinah of the Shafi. The Shafi is the one who will be taken. Now this is all, this explanation I've given, is according to Imam Abu Hanifa. Sahibain, on the other hand, they say no. So Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, they say no. It's the other way around. Well, actually, the proof is actually, the claimant is actually the mushtari. So they're saying it's the mushtari. This is what they say. So he says, wa Muhammadin, وقال Abu Yusuf, Imam Muhammad is with Imam Abu Hanifa. Today I don't know what is wrong with me, guys. So ومحمد وقال أبو يوسف البينة بينة المشتري. So Imam Abu Yusuf says the proof is going to be the proof of the mushtari. Alright? And that's it, guys. So just to recap this masla again. Zayd is selling his house to mushtari, sold it. Shafi now has claimed the shufa, but he's gone to court and he's saying to the judge that actually the house was actually sold for 100k and he said 150. So what's going to happen here? The judge is going to say to the Shafi, have you got proof? If you don't, we're going to ask the mushtari to swear an oath. And that's it. If both of them provide proof, then what's going to happen? According to Abu Yusuf, he says that the proof of the claimant in this case will be the mushtari, and Imam Abu Hanifa and Muhammad, they say that the proof is going to be the proof of the Shafi. Alright, khalas. That's it, guys. So I hope you guys benefit from this. I do apologize for today's strange behavior, guys. Alright, so let's recap what we covered today. So questions for you guys. Okay, so if a person sells a property with khiyar al-shart, what happens? Does the shufa go through? No, until the khiyar al-shart has dropped. And what if the buyer purchased the property with khiyar al-shart? Is it the same? No, it's not the same. It goes through straight away. Number 2, if a person buys a property with bait fasid, shira fasid, what happens here? Explain everything that happens. So in this case, you would say the shufa does not go through until that contract cannot be nullified anymore. The fasakh drops, in which case the contract now becomes binding and so the shufa becomes necessary. Okay, what if John was to sell his property to Jane for wine or a pig, and the Shafi is either a Muslim or a non-Muslim? What happens here? If he's a non-Muslim, then he's either going to give wine or the value of the pig. If he's a Muslim, then what does he do? He gives a value of whichever one it is. Right? The question is, why does he give the value of the pig but not the value of wine? Why does the non-Muslim give the value of pig and not the value of wine? Answer, is fungible and non-fungible. Okay, is there any shufa if a house has been given as a gift? No shufa. Why? Because there has to be a mutual exchange on both sides. And finally, if there's an argument, disagreement about the value of the property, of what the mushtari purchased it for, what happens? So in this case, if the Shafi has proof, he wins the case. If he doesn't, mushtari is made to swear an oath. Or if they both have proof, in this case, Abu Yusuf says the mushtari is going to win the case, and the Abu Hanifa and Muhammad say the Shafi is going to win the case. And that's it, guys. So Jazakumullah khair. I hope you guys benefit from that. Thank you very much to my patrons again. May Allah bless all of you guys. I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.